Good afternoon and welcome to From Where We Are, stories of news and culture through the lens of USC and Southern California. I'm Malcolm Caminero, coming to you live from Studio B in USC's Annenberg Media Center.
And I'm Natalie Lozano. It's Wednesday, November 15th. On today's show, the Jewish Voice for Peace group in Los Angeles called for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. Landlords are raising rent for Los Angeles residents for the first time in over 3 years. And what are USC students doing for Thanksgiving break? All that and more from where we are.
First, let's see what's going on in the world today. We have Makai Singleton with us for headlines.
Hey guys, thank you, Malcolm. At least 30 people are dead and 18 were injured after a bus slid off a highway and plunged into the gorge in northern India today. The bus, which was on its way to Jammu City, had 55 passengers on board and 42 total seats. According to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the families of those killed in the crash will receive compensation of 200,000 rupees, which is equivalent to $2,400, and those injured in the crash will receive 50,000 rupees, or about $600. The injured passengers are in critical condition and have been transported to medical facilities, according to India's federal minister. Officials believe that the crash occurred because the bus was overcrowded and speeding. Joe Biden and China's President Xi Jinping met today in Woodside, California, to discuss U.S.-China relations, which is as tense it has been in 40 years. The leaders spent more than 2 hours together. A senior Biden official said that their countries will curb the production of fentanyl and restart military communications. A Chinese state broadcaster said the two also pledged to add direct flights between the two nations and continue discussions on artificial intelligence. The 10 freeway will be out of commission for the next 3 to 5 weeks, leaving its 300,000 daily commuters looking for alternative routes. On Saturday, a fire at a storage yard near East 14th and Alameda Streets melted steel guardrails and shut down a 2-mile stretch of the freeway. Columns that supported the bridge were severely damaged, but it was determined that it would not require a full rebuild. Instead, crews will reinforce the current support columns. For those traveling in and out of downtown LA, delays and slowdowns can be expected. In an effort to encourage drivers to shift from behind the wheel to public transportation, Mayor Karen Bass rode the Metro's E-Line to work this morning. In the meantime, there are alternative transportation choices for Angelenos. USC launched a new academic advising platform on Tuesday called Advise SC. Through the platform, students will be able to create course plans and schedule advising appointments. According to the USC Office of the Vice Provost for Academic Programs, it is meant to enhance the academic advising experience for students. Although Advise SD is still in its soft launch phase, the platform is expected to continue growing in the coming months. There are videos available on the email announcement to help students familiarize themselves with the platform's functionality. It never rains in Southern California, they say, but according to the National Weather Service, 1 to 3 inches of rain is expected over the next couple of days. The first wave of showers will come in today, followed by a minor break in precipitation on Thursday. Rainfall is expected to pick up again on Friday and Saturday. The second wave of rain will be stronger than the first, and meteorologists expect Friday's storm to be heavier, with a possibility of flooding in flood-prone areas. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Makai. As the Israel-Hamas war continues into its second month, communities in the United States are advocating, taking stands, and in some cases, building new relationships. Reporter Marie-Louise Leone went to a ceasefire demonstration and spoke to community leaders about bridging the gap.
Tensions are high abroad in the United States and even here on USC's campus. The Israel-Hamas war has exacerbated existing struggles between the Israeli and the Palestinian communities, which are also felt by communities in Southern California. New Ground, a Jewish-Muslim community-building partnership, works with bridging the gaps between the groups today. Coordinator Ben Ginsberg talks about some of their recent struggles.
Our goal is to help people be seen the way they want to be seen and heard the way they want to be heard. What is being tested right now is people's ability to understand multiple perspectives and multiple narratives and to offer comfort to each other.
Even within a community, there are vastly different perspectives that have to be taken into account.
Own intrafaith circles, even for Jews among Jews and Muslims among Muslims, there can still be a lot of misunderstanding. There's still immense diversity in experiences and perspectives and narratives.
With the war's escalation of issues in the Middle East, Ginsberg says it is easier for some to react with hate, bigotry, and even violence.
A lot of people across the board feel that their lives are in danger, that their identities are in danger, and that can narrow our understanding, impede our compassion, and it can lead us to dehumanize each other.
Today, another group is attempting to bridge the gap between Israeli Jewish and Palestinian communities.
We are advocating for Palestinian equality.
This is Esty Chandler, founder of the Jewish Voice for Peace in Los Angeles. The JVP put on a demonstration in Hollywood to call for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. Chandler says both government officials and people in the media have been promoting falsehoods and offensive narratives about the Palestinian people.
This is a tactic that is used to try to justify the suppression and murder of human beings, and we simply will not let it stand. This should not be done in our name, and never again must always mean never again for anybody.
Chandler does not believe that this is a matter of a Muslim and Jewish conflict, but instead a situation in which she saw the Israeli community and the Palestinian community to be linked.
Palestinians must have equality and freedom if my family in Israel will ever see a life of safety and true freedom.
Protesters rallied for the JVP ceasefire demonstration this afternoon in Hollywood. Demonstrator Sarah Jacobus shared her thoughts ahead of the event.
The purpose of it is to assert that we as Jews are calling very unequivocally for a ceasefire in Israel's bombing of Gaza, and that we object to the weaponizing of our grief over the deaths of both Israelis and Palestinians by this massive assault on a civilian population.
A protester who asked to remain anonymous also gave their reason for being here.
I want peace. I want innocent people to stop dying in my name. It doesn't feel good. I don't like seeing people suffering and seeing anybody using my name to justify it.
Despite the rain and cold, the demonstration continued, over 100 people strong, as Jewish community members and allies gathered to share their support for Palestine. For Annenberg Media, I'm Marie Louise Leone. Not in our name!
The terrifying mind flayer from Stranger Things is no longer a fictional creature. A team of researchers at the University of Maryland have discovered a new vampire virus. Thomas Legrand has the story.
Dubbed Mini Flayer, a new type of vampire virus has been discovered in a soil sample in Maryland and for the very first time in the US. To understand this discovery, we need to go back a few years. In 2019, a pair of undergraduate students at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County isolated a new virus satellite from a soil bacterium. They named it Mind Flayer. But recent research showed there was not one, but two microbes attached to each other. The two viruses were harvested from a clump of dirt in Poolesville, Maryland. Microbiologists from UMBC then gave the satellite a similar name, and they called it Miniflayer. Miniflayer is a type of virus that latches itself onto the necks of other soil viruses, like a vampire, then travels and thrives on the back of the bigger virus. Professor Stephen Caruso, lecturer in biological sciences at UMBC, compares Miniflayer to a viral hitchhiker.
In this case, this virus doesn't need nearly as many genes, it's much smaller, and it's able to kind of hitchhike. Calling it a hitchhiker virus would be just as reasonable as vampire virus.
In this case, the helper virus is bacteriophage, which means that it is a natural predator for soil bacterium. Miniflayer lost its ability to lie dormant. In response to that, the satellite has gone on the offensive with a somewhat of a horror movie creativity. Professor Yvonne Errol, a biology professor at UMBC, compares it to a vampire sinking its teeth into its prey. The team of researchers even found bite marks where Miniflayer's tendrils were attached. A recent study from the Journal of the International Society for Microbial Ecology explains that Miniflayer copies its companion's genetic to mutate. Now, having two viruses interacting with each other is not uncommon. What's unique is the interaction between the two.
That's all over the place. Viruses that need helper viruses to infect, but we've never seen one that has to be attached to another one.
The discovery was made by students Janelle Lewis and Hira Ahmed during a lab workshop with Professor Caruso.
This was part of a class that I teach for junior and senior level biology majors at UMBC, and I have 120 students that work in pairs in an elective lab, and so it was a pair of students that were working on this virus.
Researchers are looking into this new vampire virus as a potential medicine against bacteria. Professor Errol wrote for UMBC magazine that viral satellites have the potential to transform how researchers understand antiviral strategies, but there is still a lot to learn about them. For Annenberg Media, I'm Thomas Legrand.
There is a new update regarding hockey player Adam Johnson's tragic death and what local hockey rinks are doing regarding safety protocols. Piper Vaughn has the story.
Police in England arrested a man who was detained on the suspicion of manslaughter charges for the death of hockey player Adam Johnson. This comes weeks after the Nottingham Panthers player went up against the Sheffield Steelers on October 28th. During the game, an incident occurred where Matt Petgrave slashed Johnson's neck. Authorities have not released the name of the man, but many people believe the suspect is Steelers player Matt Petgrave. At first, the Panthers called Johnson's death a freak accident that then led to an investigation. The English Ice Association responded to the player's death by deeming neck guards mandatory by all players in England starting in 2024. The scale of Johnson's death is now reaching the United States and the local Los Angeles area. In a statement from the LA Valley Ice Center, they report having sold numerous neck guards already. Bob Sturtzel, a Pro Shop employee, says that the tragedy is something the Ice Center is becoming more and more aware of each day. He hopes that the National and United States hockey leagues make neck guards mandatory in the future. The NHL's VP of Hockey Operations, Rod Posma, said they are in the process of creating neck shields, should the players choose to wear them. As of this morning, the suspect who was arrested on the manslaughter was released on bail. The South Yorkshire Police said today that their investigation continues and they will provide updates when available. For Annenberg Media, I'm Piper Vaughn.
Red, 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 red. We're not gonna play red.
Living in Los Angeles is expensive. Now that's always been true, but it's truer now more than ever as the Los Angeles City Council approved rent increases starting in 2024. Makai Singleton has the story.
Rents will likely increase for most Los Angeles City residents. For the first time since March 2020, landlords who own properties under the Los Angeles Rent Stabilization Ordinance will be able to raise rent next year by up to 4%. This ordinance affects about 3/4 of all multifamily rentals in the city. The LA City Council signed off on this compromise deal due to COVID-era rent freezes expiring in January. Upon hearing the news of these possible increases, USC Junior and Business Administration major Fisher Johnson said,
I think student housing especially feels very high. I'm not a fan of it. I feel like LA is expensive enough.
Sophomore and Health and Student Sciences major Shivani Kuner expressed a similar sentiment.
I didn't know about that, but that's kind of sad. I hope that they don't go higher.
Kate Thompson, who is currently a sophomore, compared her experience with USC rent with that of her older sister.
I have an older sister who is a senior now, and she had told me about how pricing has extremely gone up after she's seen my rent price.
Kate also called on the university to provide better and more affordable options for students to find housing.
USC needs to kind of make a commitment to having affordable housing for us around the area of USC. So that's definitely going to be difficult on a lot of students who pay their own rent.
The original proposal suggested that increases would be able to go as high as 7 to 9%. But after the 10-2 vote on Tuesday evening, 4% was decided. Now will be the time to start preparing for the potential increase. For Annenberg Media, I'm Makai Singleton.
In 2021, there were a record-breaking 786 hate crimes reported in Los Angeles County. As reporter Madison Hogue reports, these crimes and other hate-related incidents are broken down in A State of Hate, the LA report by the AAPI Equity Alliance.
Hate continues to rise among all marginalized groups in Los Angeles. That is the conclusion of the report entitled The State of Hate in LA that was conducted by the Stop the Hate program. Kieran Bala is the Stop the Hate project director of the AAPI Equity Alliance. She broke down the report and the purpose of this initiative.
We felt strongly that it was important to lay a foundation by acknowledging the long history of hate in Los Angeles, discussing the causes of hate and how it manifests, and proposing strategies to tackle that hate.
For Robin Toma, who is the executive director of LA versus Hate, he has seen the numbers that contribute to this problem.
I think it's very easy for me to point out that the data that we have been seeing over the years has been very much disturbing in the sense of not having any downs. It is a continual rise.
His organization has a 3-part solution: uniting communities, implementing a county-wide system for reporting these incidents, and educating the communities effectively on preventing these incidents. A panel of 3 project members spoke about their personal experiences with hate in their own communities. A common theme is that there is hate everywhere. From public places like malls, to schools, to online spaces, hate transcends across all areas and is not limited to just one group. When jumping into the Q&A, the speakers were asked about the anti-Semitic and anti-Arab hate that has been going on in the world with the current situation in Palestine and Israel. All of the responses from the panelists were the same. Each expressed how their communities and their organizations are prepared for more of this hate to arise. Manju Kulkarni, who is the executive director of the AAPI Equity Alliance, encouraged the audience to take a stand with her sentiment on the question.
Please do encourage individuals to report, to seek services from our organizations. If we don't have the language skills or the cultural competency, we certainly can refer individuals to other groups.
The initiative has been renewed for another 2 years, and the grantees have doubled. Now that there are more people involved, it is expected to have next year's report be even more extensive than this one. For Annenberg Media, I'm Madison Hogue.
I'm Natalie Lozano. We're glad you're with us for From Where We Are.
And I'm Malcolm Caminero. It's 19 minutes past the hour. Coming up, it's Rivalry Week for USC and UCLA students, and tensions are rising.
month of November marks Native American Heritage Month, and we continue to celebrate the stories and traditions of Native Americans throughout campus. Today, USC held its first Native American Heritage Month celebration in Tudor Campus Center. Diego Insunza has more details about the goals the organization hoped to accomplish.
Although the month of November has been designated for celebrating the traditions and achievements of the original inhabitants of the U.S. since 1990, USC did not hold a university-wide celebration for Native American Heritage Month until this year. Today, President Carol Folt introduced this historic event.
And as we celebrate the first, I am not going to say it's not long overdue, but we're here now, and that's really important.
The Native American Heritage Month celebration began with various performances and traditional bird singing, with audiences dancing along to the upbeat rhythm of the song. Derek Duro, a leader singer for the TM Bird Singer, explains the cultural history behind the performance.
It was a good thing. It was a good thing to be able to share because, like I said, you know, my Uncle Ernie, he was our leader and our teacher. He taught us these songs for the people, you know, to share the songs. And so anytime I get to share the songs, I'm keeping a piece of him alive.
Hosted by the Native American Student Assembly, the events featured members speaking in their traditional language and a panel of students and professors who identified with Native American heritage. Kat Broderick, Director of Programming for NASA and the Cultural Ambassador for the Native American Pacific Island Lounge, explains what this means to USC's Native American community.
And I think, you know, any chance to celebrate Indigenous people is important, and like campus has been and always will be Native land, and any chance we get to like take up space and for other students to support us and reconnect with their own heritage. There's so many Indigenous students on campus who are excited to learn more and excited to be a part of community.
Even the USC lacrosse team made an appearance and acknowledged their sport's origin in Native American tradition. Members pledged to dedicate their games in recognition to Native lands and traditions. USC students can continue to celebrate Native American history by attending LA Skins Fest's Powwow event on Saturday, November 18th at 9 a.m., where they will be screening Native American films at the TCL Chinese Theater. For Annenberg Media, I'm Diego Nzunza, with help from Kaylee Bryant.
USC's men's basketball took its first loss this season at a home game against unranked UC Irvine last night. Joseph Domingot reports on the surprise loss to the Anteaters.
Number 16 ranked Trojans were outplayed by last year's Big West regular season champions UC Irvine. Fifth-year guard Boogie Ellis and junior guard Kobe Johnson were downgraded to out prior to last night's game due to injury. In a press conference last night, head coach Andy Enfield was irked about the team's performance despite the early season injuries.
It's frustrating. I know our players are very upset. But it's on me. I got to figure out how, even though we're shorthanded, figure out how to have better practices and then obviously have to execute better offensively during the game.
After scoring 80-plus points in USC's first two games, the Trojans were held to just 60 points last night. Five-star freshman guard Isaiah Collier scored 23 points. However, it would not be enough as the Trojans moved to 2-1 this season. Collier debunked the injury excuses as he has high expectations for the team in the future.
Injuries happen. We never know when it's going to happen. But, next minute up, we just got to be better.
The Trojans will look to get back to winning ways against the Brown University Bears on Sunday at Galen Center. For Annenberg Media, I'm Joseph Domingot.
The Crosstown Showdown is here. USC and UCLA football will meet for the 93rd time this Saturday at the Coliseum. Neither program has had the 2023 season they hoped for, but as both teams find themselves unranked in the CFP Top 25 poll. Nevertheless, school spirit remains high as both schools look to take home the victory bell. We interviewed both USC and UCLA students to find out how they celebrate rivalry week and who they think is going to win.
I have a lot of friends who go to UCLA. It's a good school, but I think we're at a better one over here at USC.
I mean, they're another small school in LA. I'm not too familiar with a lot about them. I just know that they hope they could be Trojans one day. So we got a great team going, and we're going to beat the Bruins this year, no doubt about it.
That was USC students Idan Saedi and Danny Zahn, who both work with Trojan Pride to create events designed to get students excited for the game. Justin Lee went into dreaded Bruin territory to ask students about the rivalry game. Katie McNamara, a UCLA student with strong ties to USC, is sticking with her Bruins this Saturday.
Yeah, I think UCLA can pull it out for sure. It's going back and forth the last couple years, and it's our turn this year, so.
Kyla Otway, an international student athlete from New Zealand, is new to how intense the crosstown rivalry is. However, she's still voting for the Bruins to win.
No, definitely not. There's nothing like this in New Zealand.
Is this new to you?
Definitely coming to the States, it's been new, yeah. Obviously, UCLA.
The victory bell is painted red right now, but come Saturday night, will we have the post-game blues, or will we paint the town and bell red? We all know the answer. Fight on and 4's down. Kickoff from the Coliseum is at 12:30. Malcolm, are you excited about the game?
I am quite excited, and I'm thinking that bell is going to stay red.
I think so too.
How about you, Natalie? I see you with a red scarf with a blue shirt. I don't know what's going on today.
Conflicting themes I see. Yes, no. I am so excited about this game. I really wanted to go. I did not plan for it at all, though. And I saw the tickets, like people like reselling tickets. And it was like, oh, $160. And it's like, that's the cheapest that they'll go. Like they'll sell for higher. It's crazy, but I understand. It's exciting.
Switching from rivalry week to everybody's favorite, Thanksgiving break. Natalie, what do you have planned for Thanksgiving?
So I'm actually going to Georgia to visit some family. I'm really excited. We're going to deep fry a turkey. I've never done that before, so I'm excited to see how that's going to go down.
Excited good, excited bad?
I don't know yet. We'll see.
Hey, I can promise you deep fried turkey doesn't go down easy, and it tastes really, really good. So I think you got a good chance coming for you.
I'll take your word for it.
I can promise you, Piper Vaughn knows some students who got some fun plans, though.
The best time of the year, holiday season, with the fresh cranberry sauce, gooey mac and cheese, and buttery potatoes. There is no better way to celebrate the beginning of the holiday season, and to provide a nice break before finals ramp up. USC student Jocelyn Bowman says she's looking forward to finally going home for Thanksgiving.
This year I'm going home. I am tired of being in LA, so I'm going back to Colorado, and I'm just going to have dinner with my family and have a good time.
But she says her favorite dish is a little controversial.
This is unpopular, but I really like green bean casserole, but I feel like not a lot of people like it as much as I do.
For Ola Kalu, she is traveling to Texas to celebrate her first ever Thanksgiving with family friends.
I'm actually not American, so this is my first proper Thanksgiving celebrating, but I'm excited. She makes like a sweet potato pie situation that I've heard is really good, so I'm excited to try that.
Other students like Ethan Gonzalez are also going home to spend time with his family, and his favorite dish is among the most popular at the Thanksgiving table.
I love the mac and cheese that my family makes.
However you celebrate your Thanksgiving, I hope it is a relaxing break filled with even more delicious food. For Annenberg Media, I'm Piper Vaughn.
And that's all we have time for on today's From Where We Are. Ethan Wong, Kyla Drew Simmons, Jack Waterman, and Amy Lopez produced today's show. We had help from Justin Lee, Kaylee Bryan, and Victor Kevorkian.
Our board operator is AC Schick. Our live stream manager is Nina Mutadat. And Derek Renfro composed our theme music.
Catch us live on YouTube at Annenberg Radio News Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m. Subscribe to From Where We Are, wherever you're listening right now. And finally, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Annenberg Radio. I'm Natalie Lozano.
And I'm Malcolm Caminero. From all of us at Annenberg Radio, wherever you are, we hope you'll join us again for
From Where We Are.